Ladies and gentlemen, our finer speaker really embodies the real reason we are here. He is one of the 40,000 plus students attending DC public schools. Ikechukwu Umez-Eronini is a senior at McKinley Technical High School and student activist who has spoken out against the effects of teacher layoffs. Ike, as he is known to his friends, is the captain of his school's varsity debate team, a member of the varsity soccer team, and a member of the National Honor Society. When he graduates, he plans to attend the University of California in Los Angeles. The kind of leadership exhibited by this young man truly makes me proud. Let's give a warm welcome to Ikechukwu Umez-Eronini.
Good day, parents, teachers, and my fellow students. First, I would like to thank all of you for this opportunity to speak. Secondly, I would like to thank everyone for the support of each other during these tumultuous times. Regardless of the outcome, I know we'll get through it if I see the love I have seen so far continue. Unfortunately, my brothers and sisters, I speak to you in times, to quote Thomas Paine, try men's souls. When the freedom of society holds dear or threatened, that society has two options. They can stand by and do nothing while they lose their rights, or they can stand up and resist the forces of tyranny. Even more unfortunate is the fact that we as citizens of the freest nation on this earth and the capital of that same nation have allowed tyranny to exist within our city. There's an infectious apathy that affects those who are not affected by the events of these days. Be you my fellow students or citizens, I want to present to you a problem that affects all of us. When our representatives took away our right to due process by dissolving our school board, we did nothing. When the dictator they created began to exercise power in violation of that same right, we did nothing. The office of the Chancellor of DC Public Schools has superseded the authority of the school board. There are no more checks and balances in a nation that prides itself on the same thing. That same concept is constitutionally protected by the Fifth Amendment. The more disheartening observation is our geographic location contributes to the abuse. These events will not be occurring in this fashion if we lived in Fairfax or Montgomery County. Thus, we are not receiving equal protection under the law, and that means our 14th Amendment right has been violated. This reduction in force has occurred without any input by those who represent us. There's been no due process in the standards which teachers are evaluated. In fact, according to the Chancellor who I met with yesterday, the evaluation system was not utilized in deciding who was going to be riffed. Instead, a form was submitted by each principal to justify the rift. To read between the lines, the Chancellor attempted to give principals the power to fire who they wanted without being vulnerable to legal action. In his arrogance, our principal at McKinley Tech even said during a private meeting with the SGA president, and I quote, "I couldn't wait to get rid of that female dog." Our right to a free and public education is threatened by the looming fact that we have lost counselors, teachers, and staff, and must now carry on in conditions where educational effectiveness is reduced in force. Regardless of all this, I would have been tempted to turn a blind eye to the situation had it not been for some research I did. In the course of my research, I read an article that stated the reason for the reduction in force was cuts in the budget set by DC Council. So I dug a little deeper. I found a press release from the Office of the DC City Council, and I quote again, Councilman Chairman Vincent Gray will hold a public oversight hearing this month on the District of Columbia Public Schools annual equalization process and a reduction in force that occurred October 2nd. The press release went on to say that on July 31st, 2009, the council passed the Budget Request Act for the fiscal year of 2010, when all federal stimulus dollars accounted for fully funds DCPS at last year's levels. According to the obvious math, that means no budget cut on DCPS has occurred. Now, I cannot answer the question these facts beg. Why then did the Chancellor order reduction in force? The Chancellor told us yesterday she received her budget on August 5th or 6th, and the Council was confused about how the federal stimulus dollars worked. So who is mistaken? The Council who passed the budget on July 31st, or a Chancellor who continued to hire new teachers with the knowledge of an alleged budget cut? What I do know is the relative who once told me, "This smells funny and I'm not going to eat it." I cannot stand by and just watch the news feed of my peers being abused by the very police whose job it is to protect them. I cannot just stand by as the delicate process like teacher firings are completely mismanaged and place the well-being of minds at risk. Let's take a look at the events of Friday, October 3rd, 2009, when between noon and 4 p.m., the RIF was actually implemented. At noon, principals, using their Metropolitan Police Department officers in their schools, began to RIF professional staff and teachers while students were still in school. Neither the mayor nor the chancellor had the foresight to declare a half day of school so that the students would be free and clear from each and every building while the RIF occurred. Both the mayor and the chancellor failed to understand that the high school level, of which DCPS has 15 schools, that tensions would run high and tempers would flare. The results of their misfeasance, malfeasance, or nonfeasance were that Adrian Fenty and Michelle Reed caused near-riot situations in several high schools. The chancellor told us yesterday that she did not take any precautions to ensure student safety besides having security present and having the principals have an ongoing conversation with their students. This is misfeasance. The mayor and chancellor knowingly and willingly violated several statutes of the child welfare and endangerment laws of Washington, D.C. More importantly, if the mayor failed to comprehend this, then the chancellor should have done so. Finally, if neither could comprehend this, then how can either be expected to reform our school system? If we allow such behavior to threaten our children and go unpunished, then what other behaviors do we allow to exist? If any student had created the situations and conditions of riots, they would have been expelled and faced criminal charges. We must not allow authority to be a cloak against law and order. We cannot allow those who are unfit for office to continue to hold office. We must maintain the sanctity of equal protection under the law. If that means impeachment, then so be it. But winning this fight is going to take more than rallies. Winning this fight is going to take more than news coverage. While I'm thankful for the efforts of all those who have taken up the call of freedom, our job remains. Riots do bring attention to our plight, but they do not solve it. The media cannot shame our leaders into doing the right thing alone, but we all need to do our part. Now, I hear you asking me, how can I do my part? And I'm glad you asked. We need to contact our representatives and tell them to repeal these illegal acts we have witnessed and curtail the power of this educational dictatorship. But we can't stop there. We need to contact lawyers, the ACLU, those gifted with the knowledge of the law to bring our plight under judicial review. But we can't stop there. We need to continue to rally support because where there are few, the mighty can pretend blindness. But where there are many, tyranny can be effectively resisted. We must continue to contact and involve the media because the media has the ability to bring what was hidden into the light and broadcast our freedoms being taken away for this nation to see. We must beware of apathy. Today it might not be you, but tomorrow's no guarantee of safety. Even as we stand here today, rumors of more reductions in force and more fractions of our freedom are circulating. But together we can be the change we wish to see in the world. Thank you for your time today. And remember, united we shall stand, and divided we will fall.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Where are the students in the house? Say, save our teachers. Teachers say, let us teach. Thank you, Ikechukwu.